The following video is of Tatonkwa, the father of one of the Sasquatch clans that I work with on a regular basis. He speaks with me telepathically, and he is my teacher. He gives me turkey feathers all the time, and so does the rest of his family. But he is definitely large and in charge. The following video you will see at 13 to 14 seconds, where around his eyes, you'll see a red halo, so a red glow. But his eyes themselves don't change to red. Just the surrounding area around his eyes turn red. And I have a close-up of that at the end of the video, which is only a few seconds long. So here it goes. So here he is. There's his eyes. He's sometimes turning his head and then turning back at me. I slow-moed it here so you can see there's the red glow. It's just crazy. I've never seen them glow around their eyes before and not have the eyes themselves change color. So that's the first I've seen of that. I just realized that as I was making the video for you guys. Amazing. We recreated it, and there's the ledge he was behind. We can't even see over the ledge. His eyes clocked at 8 feet.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Being Human Now show. I'm your host Jennifer Locksmith, and today our guest is the fascinating Holly Burns. Holly is a psychic, medium, intuitive life coach, and she works with all-knowing soul group that she calls the Elders. She also works with any soul in the universe, living or dead. Her work is focused on helping people live their highest vibrating lives. Holly has also contributed to 2 books. Her readings are featured in the book Clear Vessels by Stephen James Hoffman, and her Sasquatch encounters and experiences are featured in Tom Cantrell's latest book, Sasquatch America. You can find Holly at her website, hollyburnspsychic.com, and she's also available at Holly Burns Psychic on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Holly Burns, welcome to the Being Human Now show. Thank you for your service to the universe. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Right back at you. I'm so excited to do this with you. It's just so fun to know you. And I love your podcast. It's just phenomenal. Your guests are just phenomenal. And I'm really excited to be participating with everyone else in the web on your channel.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're happy to have you. You're gonna be an awesome guest. We already talked a little bit ahead of time, and we know it's gonna be a very exciting show. So when I said when you talk to all souls, we meant all souls, and some of the souls you talk to are Sasquatch. And so one thing I wanted to get started with that we talked about, I had a question for you. I had Randy Bauer on a while back, and there were a lot of questions in the comments about things that he had said. So you said, "Hey, I'm gonna get some clarification for everybody, and we're gonna see what the Sasquatch really meant with some of the stuff that happened to Randy regarding them." So I thought we would start with that. And you were great to go back and listen to it and kind of do your thing, being intuitive and talking to the Sasquatch people and getting a read on it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about you mentioned is the dice, the 666 dice. And you said it does mean something. Randy said it doesn't mean nothing. Yeah, that it's the 666 is actually a divine number. Would you mind talking a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So when he said it doesn't mean nothing, he meant it doesn't mean anything bad. And you know what? He was correct on that. He was getting his correct telepathic information from his Sasquatch clan. And I happen to be able to add a few layers to that. That's all. Because
Yeah.
I have had experiences with that number since the very beginning of my personal journey. So I think I'll give you that quick tidbit first, then I'll tell you what I just learned about it recently. So on the date 667, so June 6th of 2007, my spirit guide, Ander, gave me a foundational sign of my entire journey. Outside my ear, I was just falling back asleep, and I heard this squeaky sound outside my ear, like 16. And I like jumped awake. And that's actually a super foundational number for my 20-year journey I've had with them so far. So they gave me, and that sign meant ready, set, go. And so like my life just turned into chaos after that because I agreed to take the journey with them. So I knew that that was not a date chosen by chance by them, and that they were telling me a play on words. They purposely, these divine beings, which at the time I believe they were angelic realm beings, and they're very, very, very high level souls if they're not angelic realm beings. They purposely picked '07 because they wanted to say everybody thinks 666 is the devil, and here we are, these divine beings giving you a very important message to let you know that there's nothing to fear with the 666 thing. But they added the 7 for a twist on the end because 7 means divinely in charge. Like the divine is in charge of your life. Kind of succumb to your destiny. It's like destiny is determined by God in your life. You're following your destiny. Let God show you your path. Things like that. So I automatically knew 666 was like not correct. And then fast forward like 18 years forward, I found out by listening to something really interesting on one of the shows, I think on Gaia, that they actually explained the origin of the number 666, and that's actually originally was a very sacred number, and it means like love and divine and all these things. And it got, of course, the powers that be several thousand years ago, they didn't like that. They didn't want the people to be awake. So they made one of the most powerful energetic numbers into something demonic to make the people fear so they would back off and not become awakened. That's what I
Yeah.
learned. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. So for me, that really lines up. And here, the Sasquatch people, they know all that. So for them to play around with that message with Randy is once again, they're pinging us. They're testing us. They're testing our fear threshold and they're telling us, go past your fear, people, and explore for yourselves. Wake up, wake up,
Yes.
wake up. Isn't that just the
I
coolest
love
thing
it.
ever that they also
Yes.
know 666 is nothing to do? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
evil is created by God anyway. Evil, everything in the universe is created by the divine. Evil is a super low frequency of reality created by Lucifer, the archangel, not the fallen angel, that was asked for him to do. Jesus asked him, and God asked him to create this really low frequency. So when souls come to Earth, we have the highest gamut of emotions available for us and experiences available for us ever in the whole universe to choose from. That's
Yeah.
why Earthlings are so fascinating by other aliens, because we are the only race in the universe that has such a wide range of choices of experiences, frequency-wise, to create when we're down here.
Absolutely. Yes. And I've heard that before. It resonated. That resonates so much. Thank you so much, Holly, for that explanation.
You're
Yeah, that makes
welcome.
sense. Because they want us to move out of fear. We need to get away
Yeah,
from fear.
yeah, yeah. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear in this entire reality of 3D Earth and the universe that it is within. There's nothing to fear. Fear is like the biggest setup that we are agreeing to experience because we
Yeah.
don't have that emotion of fear when we're not in a body. Fear does not exist in the non-physical.
Awesome. Yeah.
So it's a huge contrast for us.
Yeah. And one thing you talked about, and we're going to get into your experiences after this, which I'm excited about. And one thing you and Randy do have in common is you've both gotten Sasquatch poop.
Yes, you want to hit on that? Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
shocked. Yeah, when I was working with my first clan, and I started, that was in 2016 at a different town in Wisconsin. I started inspecting the woods right by, right between the house and the other horse pasture, so it was very close.
Hmm.
And after I started continually inspecting those woods, after I had lived there a short time, because I was only there for 3 weeks, and then I started realizing they were there and blah, blah, blah. So they weren't used to somebody coming through this woods all the time. I was walking through the woods looking for different changes in the woods they had made, and all of a sudden I see this snake long human looking poop, but it was at the top of the highest rock in the entire piece of woods. And it just jumped out vibrationally to me like so much like somebody made an offering right there to say, we are the highest beings of this woods. That's why they pooped on the highest rock. And it
Yeah.
was small, so it would have been a juvenile that did it because it was a little bit, it wasn't big, but
Hmm.
it was snaky, and it just jumped out to me that it was totally not another animal. I don't know any other animals that make circular snaky poop either, so I just
Yeah.
really thought about it, but vibrationally it really jumped out to me. So I'm like, okay, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Well, then fast forward to now, last fall, in a spot that we've had continual interactions with, me and my friend Krista, who lives next door to the area where I work with one of my two clients that I work with regularly here now. She, in the very same spot where we had had an experience where they hit the wall super, super hard when we were sitting inside, right where my feet actually were. They hit right where my feet were. A little practical joke by the boys. They also laid a little poop pie right outside on that same exact spot, right outside the garage door on the
Uh-huh.
ground. Poop spot. And so we're like, okay. Then I heard from somebody in a podcast that poop for them is like a gift or something. Like it's not just
Oh.
a I'm marking thing. It's like somehow they can see it as giving a gift to you.
Hmm.
I was trying to find the podcast and go, I don't remember where I heard it and like what episode it was, so I can't go back and review it.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, I'll see that in a different manner. It was someone that has it was some experiencer that has them on his farm, and they continually are interacting with him and very, very active with his home and his wife and him. So
Yeah.
that's okay. So then the next day, 2 days later, I think it was 2 days later, it was suddenly mysteriously gone. My friend
Oh.
Crystal thinks that the Sasquatch mother told the son, because we have three little boys, one little boy, one medium boy, and one older boy in this clan with mom and dad. And the younger boy's like about 3, the middle boy's about 8 or 9, the other boy's 14 to 15. He's like 15 now. He was 14 last year. So Crystal thought she downloaded that. She thought that the mother Sasquatch told the boys, "Oh, people don't really understand or like that. Take that away." And so it was just mysteriously gone. So then let's see, it was late winter, late winter, early spring. I was arriving at this place where I keep my horses. And it's just a piece of land. And so we don't have any amenities there. There's no amenities for me to use as far as the bathroom goes. And so when I'm there, I just use the lean-to like the horses do. And the Sasquatch see me do that all the time.
Yeah.
So I arrive in my vehicle, I get out and I look, and there's a circle of a snake of poop on the ground right in front of the gate where I would walk through to
Yeah.
go into the area where my horses are. It's like the main entrance. Like I have to go through a big gate that's a pasture fence. And crumpled up weird pieces of toilet paper right next to it on the ground, like somebody didn't understand how to use toilet paper. So when you use toilet paper, you don't crumple it really small. You make a nice big pad with it. It looks
Right.
like this person didn't understand that concept, and there was little teeny spots of poop on the toilet paper, but it was mostly like you could tell it wasn't used properly
Yeah.
next to the poop. And what I downloaded was, and I haven't done a reading, like an official reading with them yet, and really meditated on it and really asked them about it. But what I downloaded was that they were imitating what humans do and showing me, hey, like A, we see you going to the bathroom, and B, we're gonna play a game and we're gonna do what you do. We're gonna be human for a minute, and we're gonna pretend and use toilet paper too.
I love that. That resonates a
Okay,
lot.
and it makes no sense.
Yeah.
It makes no sense for a human to stop and go to the bathroom there. Like if some drunk boys were out driving around and one of them had to go to the bathroom, first of all, they wouldn't have toilet paper with them in their car, most likely. Secondly, they would choose to go in a spot that's a lot more private. That was the most open spot you could find.
Yeah.
They would go in the tree. There's woods right there. They would go in a spot by a wooded tree over a few yards away. They wouldn't just purposely go in the most seeable, visible spot they could find,
Yeah. The only
right by
thing that
where a
makes
human's
sense
gonna
is
walk.
yes. That's the only thing that makes sense is it's them. And they've done it over and over again, specifically where they knew you would see it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's the third time now that I've
Yeah.
gotten a poop snake right where I am. So
That's awesome.
that's what I feel like is going on with that. And
Yeah.
they view their feces differently than humans do.
Hmm.
They think of it a little differently. They don't get as freaked out about it by as we do, I guess.
Maybe we shouldn't get freaked out about it, but still
Yeah,
keep it in the
right.
bathrooms, people.
Right. We
Yeah.
should take their lead and run with it.
Yeah. And then, well, the one of the last things that got a lot of attention in the comments, I know a lot of people were speculating, questioning this, is that they did something with the crosses. Randy put a cross out, and they did something with the crosses. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
Every
yeah, they,
time. He
yeah,
said they destroy the crosses every time.
okay. So yeah, and you said that they are making a statement about the cross and Jesus and the divine feminine, leaving
Yeah,
the divine feminine out of the story. And would you just mind explaining what they intended with that? Because a lot of people were
you
kind of
bet.
freaking out about that.
Yeah. Now, when Randy said they destroy it every time, when he said the word destroy, the all-knowing, I don't know exactly who did it, my spirit guides and Sasquatch people combined together, maybe a big group of souls vibrated me with dissonance when he said destroy it every time. Because that's just a word he used. He
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
really
he's
mean
just
destroy it, but,
talking.
So
Yeah,
I changed the word in my question because I knew that was too harsh. I'm
yeah.
like, okay, yeah, yeah, they don't purposely mean to destroy it. I
Hmm.
knew that right away. And then I changed the question to change. Why do you change the cross every time? And in the picture he showed us in the podcast, it was still that all the blocks were still together, but they were in a different formation, more like an arrow, which I thought was very interesting. They weren't just strewn around, they were like reformulated into a different shape. So I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so I just said, why do you always change the cross? And they said they're kind of following Jesus's lead on that Jesus wants us to understand that the cross is being misconstrued as a symbol of worshiping him, and that's not what he ever intended, and that it's not supposed to be, the almighty, it's putting him as the almighty highest soul in the universe, and he said that's also not what he intended, and that people are totally, once again, just forgetting about the females that were in the biblical story that were very, very important, integral parts of the story. He said we were a team. It was a team of all of us working together, and he's bringing up his mother Mary and his wife Mary, and saying, we were all like he did say that my wife and I taught everybody together as a team. So him and his wife were out teaching consciousness lessons to the world as a team, divine feminine and divine masculine. But the world just took her out and made it all divine masculine. And then it got, mishandled, he said, for the last 2000 years. So he just wanted so the Sasquatch people wanted to let people know, hey, you guys need to balance your divine feminine and divine masculine. You need to respect the woman as much as the man and stop just worshiping the man because you guys are missing the mark with your consciousnesses. They said it's not quite the right frequency of consciousness. If you take that cross and you're like, oh yeah, this is a holy thing, I'm really enjoying the cross. That's great. But you have to make sure that you're not giving up your power to some guy named Jesus and feeling like he's greater than you. Well, obviously he is. He is. His consciousness is way higher than all of ours. Bashar just told somebody on a podcast a couple weeks ago, she said, "What can you tell me what frequency I'm at?" She was at like 50,000 hertz or something like that. And he said Jesus and Buddha and those guys are all at like 500,000 hertz. I
Wow.
mean, he's like they're super, super high compared to you guys.
Hmm.
So they are higher, but there was females involved as well. And the Sasquatch people just said no, and the message is wrong. It's not worship Jesus. The message is awaken yourselves to the divine that is within you, bring as much divine energy into your physical shells as you can, and become one with your own divineness. So that's the message they were trying to get through.
I love it. I love it. Yes, that resonates. Resonate very much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And one quick thing I wanted to add, I forgot.
Yeah.
Um, they also said that the shapes that they made the crosses into in the formations were personal messages for Randy too. So
Mm.
the different shapes and things they do with the blocks and things, lots of personal things for him mixed in there.
Okay, awesome. That's right. I didn't see that in the notes. Thank you so much for asking them for us because I'm just like clearing that up and giving their perspective because I think that's really important.
I
And
love it. I love doing
yeah,
it. It's so fun to be able to have a three-way conversation together and really
yes.
get some new frequencies out to the planet so we can all resonate with those and really magnify those.
Yes, absolutely. And it's funny, Tobe Johnson talked to a psychic just talking about the Sasquatch people. This popped in my head. And he had hair, what'd you call it? Is it hair or is it fur that they have?
I call it hair. No, it is hair. I've
Okay.
heard from several people. I've heard from several people that they definitely have hair. Definitely have hair because they just said definitely have hair.
Okay, okay. Um, and he gave a piece of one of their hair to this woman. I believe she was a Buddhist. She was a psychic and she came from a Buddhist background. And she got
Okay.
a hold, I don't know if you've heard Tobe Johnson talk about this,
Yeah,
but
I'm very familiar with Tobe. Yeah.
yeah. And the psychic woman said that there's something between mix of like a fairy spirit and something above the Dalai Lama. So as far as talking about like frequencies and how they're very high
Whoa.
vibe, I just thought that was
That is
very
so
interesting.
cool.
Yeah.
Love it. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's the coolest. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Well, I know
That's
you've
so
got a lot to
fascinating.
yeah, and you've got a lot to share with us about them too. So let's dive into your now we talked about Randy and clarified some of the stuff that happened with his, and I'm so grateful you did that. I know the audience will be too. But I want to talk about you've had some amazing sightings and experiences too, to say the least. Now you are on a farm that's surrounded by woods and it's bordering the Ice Age Trail, correct? So you've
In
got
2016, I was.
okay, okay,
For my first experience, that's where I was.
okay. And all your sightings have been at night so far. Your sightings, but you've had many experiences.
I experienced them 24/7, but my visual sightings have all been after dark or just at dark. My very first one was
Mhm.
at 9 p.m. in the summer in May when the sun's almost the highest it's going to be, and it was just getting dark at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. So, well, do you want
Yeah.
to get started taking us through? Let's start off with what was your introduction to the reality of the Sasquatch people?
My introduction that they were real was my
Yeah.
real life interaction with one
Okay.
in 2016. I always believed they were real, and I was very inexperienced with them knowledge wise. I had only just watched the show Finding Bigfoot, which was new back then because this was way back, 9 years ago now. So
Hmm.
they hadn't had very many episodes on yet either. And all I knew was that they knock on trees and that they're really smart. I mean, I had no idea anything else about them.
Yeah.
Because they don't cover that on the show. They weren't covering it back then. I haven't watched the show since then, but they because I don't have time to watch TV anymore, but uh they uh they were not discussing their consciousness level or anything like that on the show before. So you had no idea that they were, not just they aren't an animal. They are a being. They are a people. They are a species of people, just like we are. So that was my introduction. And I was working on gaining some horse fencing through some woods that I needed to find a path in order to put the horse fencing through some woods so I could connect two pastures together. And it was just about dark. And I remember thinking, oh, I have just enough time to make it through the woods and see if this spot here would work good for a path before it's going to get dark. And so I'm going to do that quick before I end my chores for the day. I'd been outside all evening working in the horse pasture, refurbishing fencing. And I flipped on the flashlight mode on my phone and I held it out in front of me and I popped over a big fallen tree and I jumped back down the other side like the kid does in the comic strip Family Circus where he like jumps all around the neighborhood and they make the dotted line of everywhere he's been. Felt kind of like that. I was kind of jumping up, jumping down, going through different
Yeah.
things. And when I jumped down, I turned my flashlight around and I saw a reflector in the woods about 75 feet away. And I'm like, why is there garbage in the woods? Huh. Oh, there's another reflector. Just even, exactly even with the other reflector, two reflectors. Oh, that's interesting. They were oval, oval shaped. Two
Yeah.
oval shaped reflectors. Oh, that's interesting. What's that? Then bam, I get hit with this bolt of energy, and I'm like, what? And he just like gave me this intense conversation. It was just like, and to back up, at that point, I had been working with my spirit guides for 10 years, but only with them. I was like a closed circuit. Only them and I were speaking. The group of all-knowing souls that works with me 24 hours a day, the elders, and my spirit guide Ander, were all working with me, and I didn't know to try and talk to anybody else. So I was just speaking with them all day long. So I did not directly speak with the Sasquatches directly in that experience. So here I am. I'm just this I did not think to speak back to him telepathically at the time, okay? So I'm just going in really naively. So I go in and I'm going through the thing, and all of a sudden I have these two reflectors just start talking to me, and as he's talking to me, it gave me this energy, and I'll tell you what he was saying in a second. My mind, because I can't tell you and tell you what my thoughts were at the same time. So I'll go with my thoughts here quick for a second. My thoughts were, oh wait, those aren't two reflectors. That's an owl. Oh, wait, that's not an owl. That's a Sasquatch. Oh my God! I'm speaking to a Sasquatch? This is a dream come true. Are you kidding me? What? They're real. Finding Bigfoot needs to know. Oh my God, like that. I was just like
Yeah.
freaking out. So I'm not thinking rationally because I'm not expecting to come across a Sasquatch 75 feet away from me when I'm walking through the woods on
Yeah.
private property. So he took over then at the same time. He didn't wait for me to think. He was just talking, and he's just like really still. And I did watch enough episodes of Finding Bigfoot to sight where his eyes were exactly, and go out the next day and recreate it. And I do have a picture I can show you
Yeah,
of
yeah. We're gonna get into
my friend.
pictures.
I can show you. If I'm done with this quick story, I'll bring up the picture.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so I was looking, and I'm looking for exactly where the eyes were, and there were some little crisscross branches. I could see those, and
Mhm.
so I knew that exactly where those eyes were. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go out the next day. I'm going to see if there's any way it could have been an owl, blah blah blah. So he says to me, he gives me this beam of energy, and it was like he didn't. I mean, I don't think he was like infrasound energy. I think he was just like, I was just so surprised. And then he just started sending me this really adamant. He was just he just told me he comes in now. I named him King. I don't know. I didn't ask him yet ever if he has another name besides King. I just call him King. So I'm sure he does. But King just said, yeah, I was just sending you my attitude. Yeah, he was just sending me his attitude. Like his attitude was, I'm king. That's why I call him king. So
Yeah.
his attitude was, this is what he was saying. He was saying, I am king. I am in charge of everything around here. We have been watching you since you got here. So I was like, we. I just automatically downloaded the we part meant him and his family. And at that
Hmm.
time, I did not even know Sasquatches lived in family units.
Yeah,
So that
wow.
was really credible for me. I love that when I get credibility, when I get something and I don't know anything about it, and then later I correlate it. I
Yeah.
love that. So
Yeah.
we have been watching you since you got here, which had been 3 weeks. We have been watching you since you got here. You're so oblivious. And because you're so oblivious, we're just gonna have to tell you we're here because you're never gonna figure it out otherwise.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there going, what? You are sentient. Sasquatches talk like people? You are smart. You are way smarter than me. This dude is way above me in consciousness. Holy crapities, he is on it. I just was just like, oh yeah, yep, yep, you are king. I'm good.
Yeah.
And so I just sat there, and I just stood there, and I'm like, I was just shocked because I had no idea Sasquatches were people. So
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm just like,
Did it make you feel like a little kid again? Like,
yeah,
did you feel
yeah.
like,
Yeah, exactly. A very naive, oblivious human being, which I was. I was really oblivious to them, had no idea they were there. And so, but I'll tell you later how obvious it was. It was so obvious after my friend Chris came over and showed me all around the farm and showed me all their structures, which were basically like I was basically interacting personally with the structures
Oh
along the
my
edge of the horse
gosh.
pasture and having no idea that any of this stuff was Sasquatch structures, which most people are. Most people are super oblivious to that. People don't go around looking for that. So,
Yeah.
so after he said that to me telepathically, and I'm looking to say, okay, let me see where those eyes are. Let me see exactly where he is. Okay, got it, got it, got it. And I just said, I did it like I said. The me now would have sat down and said, "Cool. What else do you want to say?" And I would like tried to have a conversation with him, but the me then was completely caught off guard, not ready for that at all. And so I said verbally, "Nice to meet you." Okay, thank you. Yeah, nice to see you. And then I like thought to myself, don't act afraid, don't act scared. Just keep going with what you're doing, Holly. Just don't let him intimidate you because he was like intimidation. So
Yeah.
I turned to the side and I was gonna continue on my path of through the woods. I was halfway through the woods or so. I had another halfway to get. And when I turned and my foot touched the ground, I was walking, so I took two steps by the time my brain stopped my body. I went step, step. When I went step, step, he went snap, snap, two tree branches. And he couldn't see me. When I turned to walk, I was behind a big bush, a big, huge bush. So he couldn't visually see me. But yet he snapped the branch exactly when my feet touched the ground. So I knew then that he was also had the consciousness level to know things that he doesn't have to be visually seeing to know. So once again, he was very much proving to me his level of consciousness. And I stopped and I froze in my tracks. And I'm like, okay, 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 I'm here by myself on the farm with a big, huge Sasquatch that could kill me right now if he wanted to. But I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. So
Yeah.
I took like five more steps, and I did get to the end of the woods, and I'm into the clearing of the next pasture. And I just went, yep, okay, got it, yep, yep. There's the path. I couldn't even think. And then
Yeah.
I was like, I turned around and I went back again. And when I came out from behind that bush, nothing there. He was gone. And he had
Wow.
not made a sound, not one sound, not a peep. And
Yeah.
energetically, I could feel he was nowhere there either. So he
Okay. Yeah.
somehow exited the forest. Obviously, he probably just popped out. But if he didn't, I don't know how something that big cannot snap a branch when they're walking through the forest. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
Because what he would have had to do to I'm sure if he did exit in a physical direction, he would have gone the opposite direction from me, and he would have gone into the DNR forest.
Hmm.
And he would have had to jump a fence because there's a big fence between the private land and the DNR woods.
Hmm.
So he had to go over the fence and he had to go through lots of branches and leaves on the ground. It was early spring, it was end of May. Oh, the grass was very tall by then, though, so there was lots of grass. But in the woods, of course, you try running through the woods silently. You can't do it.
You
Human
can't.
beings can't do it. Because
Mm-mm.
I try not to crunch the branches that I know that they have put on the ground around the
Hmm.
structures I'm inspecting and things. And I try to be quiet so people don't hear me rustling around the woods that live nearby and things. And I can never do it. I try my hardest. I only get about 5 feet and I'll hit a branch. So
Yeah.
I was shocked that he had not made a noise at all, and he was completely not there anymore. So that was really awesome for me. And so I went back to the safety of the house, and I'm
Yeah.
like, safety, because obviously, it's not even really, if they want to do something, they can get you anywhere. But anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my first encounter, and then I knew from finding Bigfoot, I should find a research organization or something to report this to. I should report the sighting. And so I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm going to be good. I'm going to report the sighting to somebody official. And so I found this local place on Google, and it was a Sasquatch Researchers Association or organization. I always forget which word it is. Sasquatch Researchers. I think it's organization. Yeah, SRO, I believe it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've heard of that.
The Sasquatch Researchers Organization, but that could be a different one. I have to go. I always forget the exact name, but they're in Wisconsin and Minnesota. That's where
Okay. And
they.
that's where you were. You were
That's where
Minnesota.
they research. And I was on the border of Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Okay.
So, I talked to a guy who was in northern Minnesota, and he's like, I'm gonna have my partner Chris contact you." Okay. So his partner Chris contacts me, and Chris happens to live like point 0.3 miles away.
No coincidences.
I know. I know. So over he comes. And he starts educating me on everything Sasquatch, and I was shocked. He was telling me they work with energy. He was telling me he all of his experiences. He's had so many really cool experiences, and I was like, "What? They work? They do all that? They can do that?" And he's telling me how they can use infrasound and they can freeze you so you can't move. They can. He was telling me he's had lost time where they lost several hours and they woke up and it was like morning and all these things. And so that was my first education. Then he started showing me the structures. He's like, Holly, look at this. This is a structure they did. And so I started realizing all the structures right along, right where I had been working were there. So then that's how I learned how to recognize what they change in the woods on a daily basis because I
Mm,
knew my woods and I went through my woods almost every day and I would see the new things that happened in the woods as a result of what I had done in the woods the day before, quite possibly, because they started like going behind me a lot of times and answering back to things I had been doing. And so we had an interaction. And then from there on, I was aware of them. So for the rest of the summer, I interacted with them 24 hours a day. And I always knew not to be afraid. I always knew I sent out to them mutual respect and, don't eat my cats. They're not your meal. And I knew they wouldn't. I knew they would respect my little kitty cats
mhm.
and my horses, and they respected me and I respected them. And we had a whole summer full of really, really cool interactions. And one time I did see one uh disappear in front of my eyes. He was 4 feet across at the shoulders and jumped down from a height. I did sight the branch. I went back the next day. The branch was 8 feet up in the air. Every time I sighted their height, they were always 8 feet tall. And
Wow.
this guy was 8 feet up off of the ground, up in a branch, and watching me as I was doing something with the horse fence at night in the woods. I was inspecting. I hadn't been out there for a little while, and I was inspecting to see if everything was still copacetic with the little path I'd made through the woods, so the horses wouldn't stray and get into the woods because there was many old pieces of barbed wire fencing and things in the woods that they absolutely could not get into. So I had to make sure that that stayed safe. And I was inspecting one night while it was drizzling out, and I had a super bright light. I call it the beacon light. It's like a bright spotlight. And I use that to locate the horses around the property at night and things. And so I was using it to shine down the fence line, to follow the fence line. And here they had pushed a big, huge tree over the fence so that they could just continue, the toddlers could continue to go through. That's what they always do. Their big MO is they'll push a tree over your fence if they don't like where you put your fence. So they did that. And so I was looking at that and thinking, I have to go fix that when all of a sudden, and I thought, well, let me just continue on a little bit further down the fence and see if anything else is awry that I need to fix. When I did that, when my light hit the Sasquatch, he got freaked out and he jumped down from the tree. And when he jumped, he flipped at the same time as he jumped. And his shoulders were like a silverback gorilla and they were 4 feet across and shimmering in the evening light because it was drizzling out, so they were like silver with water
Oh, that's
on them.
cool.
Yeah, it was beautiful, and there was like a moon. I think it was bright moon as well that night. So I had moonlight as well as my light, and then he jumped down. When he flipped and jumped, I never heard him hit the ground. I never heard him take a step. I blinked my eyes, and he was gone.
Do you think
I
they're
mean,
teleporting? Can they teleport, you think? Like boom,
I
boom,
think
just
so. I think, or, well, he just said, or I moved so fast because I have seen one last summer at this location move 50 yards further away from me in literally a half second. It was probably, how long was it? It was like this long was like, it was like, if this is the starting port,
hmm.
start and
And was
start
it like
and
did they streak? Did it streak or was it
he
like
turned his eyes away from me, so I didn't see him. He
okay.
turned his eyes away. So he was looking at me with red eyes.
Hmm.
I caught him in my light. He knew I saw him, and so he moved further away and turned around and looked at me again. So I saw
Wow.
red eyes, and then a half a second later, it was like this song was like, see him, see him, see him. see him, like
So
that
like
fast. See him, see him.
warp speed.
Looked at it half a second. He went
Yeah.
from the shelter belt of trees to 50 yards away out in the field, so where he
Wow.
felt safer away, and looked back at me. So they can move that fast. And when they move that fast, they're explaining to me now, they're not taking footsteps when they're moving that fast. They are like levitating and just shoop across and then
Okay.
going back down on the ground again. They're not physically running that
Okay.
fast. They're
Okay.
streaming their consciousness over to another spot.
Got it. Yeah, and that makes sense because they are masters of this physical realm, right? I mean,
Yeah,
they and the time and
yeah.
space don't mean anything to them. They can manipulate it, right?
Yeah. So I think I think they might be just picking up their feet and just zooming their energy across and then landing their feet down again, like flying almost
Yeah.
across the ground and not needing to put their feet down because they have so much lift with their energy beam. They can just energize themselves and just levitate and then go back down.
So
That's
cool.
that's what I'm getting right now
So
from them.
cool.
So I
And
think that's some what they were doing. Yeah,
yeah.
as
No,
opposed to
please continue.
teleporting.
Continue if you have anything
Well,
more to
I'm
say.
energetically like I just felt like there was a missing piece there, and I think I just downloaded it. And I think
Okay.
that they're like kind of doing a levitation across the ground where they can just shoop and they can just move away really, really fast.
Yeah. Well, I
I
can
think that's what happened to
I
me.
saw one go across the road and I thought it was skating. I told you about that. And I talked
Yes,
about that
yes.
on with Arlen Williams and Michael Harrell on the Pork and Bean Show. Yeah, I thought I saw somebody in all black skating across the road. And Arlen was like, "No, you had a sighting. They look like they're skating, but they're actually levitating." So,
Oh,
yeah.
so she told you that too?
Well, she didn't say that. She just said you had yourself a sighting. I can't remember exactly what
Okay,
she said
because
after that,
when
but
they walk, their knees are bent in a way that would look like
mm.
they're skating. So if
Oh,
you
well,
saw
maybe
him
he was
walking down
walking.
the
I don't
street,
know.
because that's why I was thinking with
Yeah.
yours, if he was walking, if you watch them walk, they bend their knees forward and they have a much different knee action than we do, which
Hmm.
does look a lot like ice skating.
Oh, okay. That could have been it. It just looked like a flow. Yeah.
So with
So,
yours, but they don't, but yes, but it looked like skating to you because their heads don't bob. When they
yeah.
walk, their heads don't bob up and down. And I learned all this from Tom Contrell because
Yeah.
they have a what he calls a compliant gait. And so they can bend their knees in a way where they move and their head doesn't move at all. So they do look like they're skating when they
Yeah.
walk.
Yes. So cool.
So
And
that's what I
and
feel like you saw.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've seen a lot of other cool stuff. You've seen, speaking of eye shine, you saw, well, it wasn't eye shine, their eye color changed. You saw one's
I'd
eye
love to
color
tell you guys that
change
story.
from yellow
Yes,
to
that was.
green. Oh, but can't forget about pictures either, too. You've got awesome
Oh, wait, wait, oh,
pictures.
yeah, yeah. Hold on. Yeah,
So wait,
let's go
let's
get
go
the other
back
picture.
to,
You
yeah, before
wanna?
you, the story you told about,
Yeah.
uh, oh, yep, here we go. There we are.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so there is um Chris standing next to the spot where I saw the Sasquatch. Notice it's a structure. They have all their woven branches next to the tree so that they can peep out because where I was walking where was an area where the deer go
Mm-hmm.
and his eyes were right in here. And I will show you this is the wrong picture. Actually, I have another picture that has and Chris is 6 feet tall.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I did a speech at Expo last spring, so I got this all ready for that. So he's 6 feet tall when he would be standing up, and this is 9 feet tall right here.
Wow.
I guess it was nine. I don't remember. It was a long time ago now. I guess it was 9 feet. So that his eyes were right in here. It was below this big branch. I guess not up in here, down right in here. There's
Mm-hmm.
his two eyes, and so there was no horizontal branch for an owl to be sitting on.
No. Yep.
And and look at the amazing weave that they had. That's what they always do. They pick a big bunch of trees where they can hide their body behind it. And then they do a little weave of branches next to the big tree so they can peep out from that. And their silhouette is broken up with the branches so the deer don't notice them there and they can jump in and grab the deer and have a meal.
And that's smart too, even for people, if people came along, I feel like it would leave kind of room for doubt because it's like you can't quite get a clear,
And they also do it for
yeah,
people watching all over the place, everywhere. I see it everywhere. They actually do they do a lot of structures where they have a view of someone's backyard, a regular place they like to go up to and see what the humans are doing.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Oh, that's another subject here. This is
Oh,
something else about
wow.
how they're tying their glyphs in with Hebrew letters. Do some of the if you'd like to see some of the structures right
Yeah.
by the pasture, um, this is some of the things that I was oblivious to. Um, it'll reload here.
Okay. And
Taking
you've
it.
said that you realized that these structures actually were all, it was giving them the ability to watch your horses, correct? 'Cause you've,
Yeah, but they were
yeah.
people. They were there for people watching and other things. I don't know why this is staying fuzzy. It shouldn't be fuzzy. I'll find a different one for you to show
Okay.
you. But this is some of the weaves and the things that they had right up next to. I was writing about my encounter there with that one. But yeah, these are some of the things that they did that I documented on there, like, just a big Y. So I said I would see,
Oh, wow.
no
So
source
is that
for
a
this.
tree or did they put that there?
They put that there.
Oh,
It's
wow.
loose. It's loose on the ground, and there's nothing else for it to have come from above.
Oh, my
So like
goodness.
they would do new things like this. I'd be walking along and I'd go, that wasn't there yesterday. And like I learned the subtleness of how they change everything where I lived. It was
Hmm.
quite fascinating. Here's another really great one that they did in the woods. This was a new one. Yeah, and it should continue loading and it's because I'm on Zoom that it's taking its time to get
Sorry.
unfuzzy. Yeah, because I'm on a Zoom with you at the same time. It should
Yeah.
not be fuzzy like that. But
And
it's
you said you
just,
can tell that it pops out at you energetically when you see their structures, right?
yes.
You know they're
Yeah,
not natural.
yeah. And it jumps out as something fresh to me. Like I'll be walking through the woods and I'll be like, oh, that feels new energetically. And then I'll go up to it and inspect it and I'll go, wait a minute. Or I'll just notice that was not there the last time I walked through here. So it's kind of a combination of everything because they leave their imprint on it. I'm going to try to load it one more time and see if it
Yeah.
gets clear because it's just fuzzy because I'm on with you. There.
There we
Now it's nice
go.
and clear. So,
Awesome.
yeah, so like this was something new when I was walking through the woods. And when you look at it, you can clearly see it was set there. This is their big MO. They put branches in the Y of another branch.
Yeah,
So
I
it was
see
woven
that.
in. Yep. And so this is the things that they'll start to build their structures out from where they like to watch me from and where I've been walking. So I had been walking back and forth here to go get horses over to the left of the photo. And so they started building more structures along that pathway.
Hmm.
I did ask them why they changed the branches on such a regular basis. And they said it was because they are doing like feng shui to the woods. They're shifting the energy frequencies to continually try to keep the woods in its divine frequency, its highest divine frequency. So if something of lower frequency, like me, comes through there and I shift the frequencies from my energy, they go back and like clean house
Oh,
after me.
wow.
They reorganize and clean the house up. They're like, oh, I don't like this like this. This needs to be fixed. This energy isn't quite right. We need to shift the energies. So then the tree branches emit energy and the tree roots and the trees themselves and the canopies. It's all if you could see the energy, you'd see like all these beams like flashlights shooting out from everything. So they're
Yeah.
rearranging things energetically.
Wow.
They're not just building structures, they're shifting the energy frequency around them on a continual basis to what they want. This, if you want to see this, this is okay, so this is the largest structure I found on my first property. It's so exciting. This is only 75 feet off from the driveway and only about 50 feet off from a neighbor's backyard that was mowed grass, normal residential yard.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
here's this prolifically large structure. Like this right here, this is 6 feet tall. This whole thing is about 15 feet long. It's just amazing.
And people
I
have no
just,
idea it's there unless they go
yeah,
looking.
yeah. I went walking through this area. I hadn't walked back into this patch of the woods and the driveway where you see the light back here where my mouse is, that's where the driveway is. Okay. So I was driving in and out of the property on a obviously continual basis. And a lot of deer jumped out to me right here all the time. Well, at night, a few nights before I found this structure, I had been over a ways over in doing something in the horse pasture with the horses, and my light had shown on a Sasquatch watching me from this location here that I have on the computer right now. And so I went over to measure the eye height to see how tall the eyes were. And because I'd marked what tree they were at. So I was
Yeah.
over here marking that height, which I marked at 8 feet. And I'm like, okay, yep, the usual 8 feet. And then I just decided to walk deeper into the woods and see what else I could find. I was shocked when I walked up upon this. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? It's like the most prolifically, beautifully woven thing. It was just amazing. For a
Yeah.
deciduous forest, this is quite elaborate. People see these things in pine tree forests out east where they've got lots to work with, but in deciduous woods, you don't see as many really, really large structures like this one. So,
Yeah.
and
And there's
I
different.
especially love,
It looks like
yeah,
completely
I
different
especially
species
love
of
the
tree.
birch log.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I was going to point that out that there is no birch trees in this area.
Wow.
So, yeah,
There
that
you
was just
go.
laid. So that was I believe this is a deer hunting blind because the deer come and go from here across the driveway all the time when I'm driving by. And I learned to look for more Sasquatch structures where the deer go.
Yeah. So they use
So
these
it was
different,
really
very
fun.
interesting.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so
yeah,
cool.
really fun and amazing to show you this is the pasture.
Oh,
And
wow.
this is some of the trees that I did not know were woven by them. I thought they were just trees sitting around.
Yeah. It's in
And
plain
lo and
sight.
and that's the
Huh.
woods where I
Yeah.
have all the experiences with them. And this is the same woods where I saw King. Oh, it's also the same woods where I saw the big orb right
Yes.
by here. Should
I
I
was going
tell
to
that
ask
story
you
now?
about that. Yes.
Should we check that
Yes.
off the list?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, no,
The
yeah. Yeah, go ahead and tell that story if you want to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people can see how that's woven while I'm telling the orb story. So I had a thermal camera that Chris gave me to use, and I pointed it at this woods here every night. And I was reviewing the footage. I only had a short time to review the footage, and I came upon this basketball-sized round circle that came straight down from the trees into this woods. I could see deeply into the woods because it's a thermal imaging camera, about
Mhm.
15 feet, maybe 5 feet deep into the woods, 10 feet deep. It came straight down, made a 90-degree turn, and went that way out of frame. Just horizontal, just flying completely horizontal. And I was like, well, what at that time I did not know Sasquatches had anything to do with orbs. I had no idea. I didn't know all the Sasquatch people that I know now, and I did not know there was podcasts on YouTube of people talking about their Sasquatch experiences. So I was living in a bubble.
Yeah.
And so it was even more credible for me to find out later that they are very directly associated with orbs. So I definitely know it's a Sasquatch in the form of an orb that came straight down and went straight over horizontal and didn't hit any trees, didn't have to veer in and out to not hit a branch or anything. It was just crazy.
Yeah. Now, you didn't record that, right? That was just you with your own
It is
eyes.
recorded. It is
Oh.
recorded on thermal imaging, and I've
Okay.
asked Chris if we could find it. It's
Oh, okay.
in an art, and we're working on it. It's in an archaic
Okay. Okay.
It's in an archaic um piece of equipment, and
Okay.
both of us have to someone has to take time to go through it all
Okay. Got you.
because we haven't finished going through the footage to do it, and so I had to move away. I had to move away, so when I moved away I was unable to hang out and use the equipment anymore, so I had to give the equipment back to him, and then it's just sat there. So yeah, we're really bad. We need to get it hooked up again, and we need to find that footage. Oh yeah, I
You
had it in a
will.
computer. I might have had it saved into a laptop too, but that laptop has since died, so it's just kind
Mm,
of like, darn it. I know.
yeah.
I was just super I thought that his people that volunteered within his organization would like be all over the footage and they'd be all going through it, but everybody's been busy and nobody's done it yet.
Yeah. Well, it'll come out when it's meant to. I trust that. Yeah, it will.
Right, right.
Yeah. Do we talk about the eye changing color? I think
Oh no, we didn't yet.
we were just getting to that, and then we're like, oh, we have to do pictures. So
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
you
yeah.
saw eye color change. Will you tell us about that? That was
This was
cool.
one of the most amazing experiences of my entire life. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I'm in the location where I am now with my first clan I work with here, over where my horses are. And so I was mowing the pasture, and I'm a night owl, so I like to use my daytime for other things, and sometimes my tedious chores or medial, whatever you call it, my menial chores
Mm.
end up extending into the nighttime because I don't like to waste daylight on things like that sometimes. So I end up doing some of those things in the evening and dark will befall me. So I'm mowing with the really bright lights, but really bright headlights from the tractor, and it was after dark, like 9 p.m. ish. And it was let's see, that happened last summer, uh, late last late last summer, because it was right it was in the summertime sometime. It was right after I found out they were there, and so they weren't used to me knowing they were there. So they were more bold about watching me then. This clan is much more timid. The clan at my first location was so brave. I could not believe how much they interacted with me physically. They were
Yeah.
always there. They were always there in the woods. They would peep out behind the trees, two or three at a time, and all the time, all around at night. And this clan now is very timid now that they know I know that they're there. So I don't see, I've only seen them like 5 times. I've had like 5 sightings with these guys in the last year. So I'm mowing and I turned the corner, and my headlights, and I'm trained since I knew they were there now. I'm very well trained at looking for them at the nighttime because I'm so used to them watching me at the other one, at the
Mhm.
other location. I came upon eyes watching me in the trees. I'm like, I think it's a Sasquatch watching me. Oh my God, I think it's a Sasquatch watching me. Oh my God. And I just stood there and I sat there in the tractor seat, and I should have thought to put my phone on record, but it didn't come into my mind. Something electronic happened with my podcast I was listening to at the exact same time, just by chance, where my podcast dropped out. So I was distracted mentally about that,
Yeah.
trying to get that back up and running again while I was sitting there watching the Sasquatch watch me in the glaring headlights of my tractor. So dumb. This was the coolest thing I ever saw in my life.
Maybe it was just for
What?
you.
I know, right? I don't know. So he's watching me with his normal yellow eyes. And when he saw me aware of him, he was in the tree line. When he
Mhm.
saw me aware of him, and I do believe energetically it was a male Sasquatch. I think it was one of the teenagers, the teenage boy in the clan, or another relative that was an adult age, like a young male
How many
that's
are
in the
there, if you
family.
don't mind me asking, in
Well,
this clan?
I know of five in the immediate family. They have three.
Okay.
They gave me indication, and I've seen their footprints. I have three different size juvenile footprints
Okay.
that we have, and then the mother and father. But I do believe, I think this time the who was watching me there was like an uncle or something. I think it
Okay.
was another male that, so I'm like, okay, you've got others that come and go in the clan. But so
Yes.
it was one of those, I think. So he's looking, when he looked at me, when he looked at me, he was looking like this with his regular eyes, and his eyes went from like this to like that, okay? Like, oh, like, so big eyes, right?
Uh-huh.
And so he's like, oh, okay, wait a minute. So she knows I'm there. And then his eyes look sideways for a second, and then he like peek back, they can't stand it. So, we gotta see, right? So he peeked back out again, and then he was surrounded by green bushes with dark green leaves.
Uh-huh.
And so he figured, oh, she can't see me if I turn green. So I'm gonna make my eyes green so I can hide. Because I know, because this also happened to me in Medora, North Dakota, a few months later with the one there. He went from red to green to
Wow.
to 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 go in with the green bushes. So that was a whole nother story, another family, another story. So this back here, first time I saw it here. But what was so cool was that his eyes were yellow at the time, and he's looking at me from his left side. It started color washing green across his left eye,
Oh
and
my
then
gosh.
green across the right eye. So the green color washed, like I'm taking a film of colored paper and I'm gradually moving it across your eye and keeping it there, and then moving it. It's like
Oh
he
my
color
gosh.
washed in his eyes with a
Yeah.
vertical line, a perfectly vertical line that went whoop whoop from
Oh
yellow to green. But only
Gosh.
one eye at a time did it. Only one eye at a time. It was like there was a green film that went from here across this eye and then started on this tear duct and went across that eye.
Oh my gosh. And it was shining green. Like what color green? I'm just trying to visualize
A
this.
beautiful emerald green,
Wow.
greener than the leaves. They think that they're, I'm sorry, I'm shouting. Let me know. I
No,
always,
you're doing great
whenever I'm on a podcast, I shout. It's so stupid.
because you're
So
excited.
because I'm used to the other person's volume not being very loud. And so if I can't hear you all that well, but I have my Bluetooth so I can hear you now. But
Okay, good.
when I don't use my Bluetooth, normally the person on the other end is kind of quiet on my computer speaker. So when you're quiet, I first think for some reason you can't hear me.
Yeah, no, I
So
hear you.
anyway, idiot. So anyway,
Oh,
yeah. So now I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, the green. So
yes, yes.
they think that their green is going to match the leaves, but they are a more emerald green than the leaves. The leaves are, well, the leaves aren't being illuminated by the light. So the leaves would be the color of leaves in the daytime.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
But at nighttime, the leaves around him are a deeper, darker green of the
Hmm.
nighttime green when you shine your light on a leaf at darkness.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That is so cool.
It was
Oh
so
my
amazing
gosh.
just how they turned because and I didn't know, just so you know, at that time I also did not know that they could change their own eye color. I know that people say, "Oh, their eyes were green. Oh, their eyes were red. Oh, their eyes were yellow. Oh, their eyes were white. Or their eyes were blue." But I did not know that they could actually change their own eye color at will
Yeah. Oh my
until I
gosh.
saw
In real
that with my
time.
own eyes. It was so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so amazing. And I just couldn't. And so, so I don't know if anyone else has ever seen that exact type of way of their changing their eyes happen like that. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
And
That is
so, yeah,
amazing.
so I've seen the other ones where he was red because he was excited that I saw him and he emotionally he flipped to red for a second. And then he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I have to hide. I have to hide from her." So then he shifted his eyes back to green. And that was in another state 10 hours away with a whole nother
Yeah.
clan when that happened. So I know they do it,
Gosh.
but just the
Yeah.
way it happened and whoop, it was just like I was just like because I was not ready for that because I did not know at that time. Remember, I did not know they could change their own eye color at will.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you realize in that moment, was that when you learned, or did someone have to tell you that's what that was? Okay.
No, I realized in that moment because he did it in front of me and he changed his
Wow.
eye color at will.
So he
And so
showed
I'm
you.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, well, I guess you can do that.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I've never
It was
seen eye
really cool.
shine. Um, well, I have
Yeah,
to
but
ask,
what you saw was pretty freaking cool.
yeah,
I'm sorry, but
I actually, I'm prepared to go public with that, but I haven't gone public with that story yet.
okay.
Yeah. So maybe at some point I will, but yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Sometimes we don't have time to tell our own stories on our own
yeah, yeah.
podcast and
No,
our
we
own
have,
channel because
yeah,
you're too busy with everything else. But yeah, you
yeah.
should do it soon. It's
I
pretty
should.
amazing.
I really should. I should. Maybe I will. I'll make a separate video. Just
Yeah.
me. So one last thing. Well, let's get into the Sasquatch communications that you've had because you have telepathic communication with this. This is just
Mm,
visual. These were sightings. Um,
yes.
like a lot of people, or maybe people don't realize, and I get them too. You get feathers. And lately, and it's so funny, turkeys just flew over, so I was like kind of laughing to
Get
myself.
out of here.
Um, yeah,
This is since like June or something.
and those are all their gifts to you. Oh my gosh.
Every single one turkey. Like this, I guess it's the theme of this year, but I do feel it has something to do with Thanksgiving of this year. I think they're giving me a timeline because I
Okay.
do know some things coming up in my trajectory, and I do believe they are also pinpointing to that time of the year on the calendar between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And
Interesting.
so, yeah, so these are all that's all the feathers I've got more than that. These are just the ones I happen to that happen to make it home safely, and I decided to put them all in the vase about a
Awesome.
couple weeks ago.
Awesome. Yeah, so we've got a lot. Oh my God, this episode's just gonna be like jam-packed with awesome stuff. So yeah, so you're getting communications from the Sasquatch that are telling you things. And I just want to tell everybody what we haven't even talked about yet is like disclosures coming and things like that.
I
So,
know.
so,
Yeah, we have a lot to cover.
yes.
I'm
So,
sorry. I tend to elaborate more once I'm
no,
on the podcast, then I slow everything down.
no, don't apologize. This was perfect because people want to hear your story. They want to hear the details. They want to feel like they're there with you because, they're living vicariously. So I think that's
Okay,
wonderful.
good. Good. If
No,
worst comes to worst, we'll break it into two parts for you or
Yeah,
something if you
no,
end up.
I think it's going perfect. I'm thrilled with it.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
Um, so you communicate. So let's just start with explaining to people that you do communicate with the Sasquatch collectively and individually. Would you mind just explaining that to people before we get into it?
You bet. You bet. So the summer that I was with the first clan in 2016, I started working professionally as a paid psychic medium after 10 years of practice by myself on my own for friends and family and friends I had all over the world. So I'd been working with lots of people, but I hadn't been doing it as a job. Well, my higher self and the group of all-knowing souls, the elders, were telling me I needed to go start doing this for a job. And they had pretty much shut down my decorative painting career over the course of the 10 years before that, because that's the path they wanted me to take. And they led me on different pathways, which I took because I agreed to take this journey with them. So long, that's a very long story. So basically, by that time, I was faced with the choice of what do I do? I had to leave my residence where I had my studio for decorative painting. So it was very difficult for me to continue with that career. And so my higher self and the elders were saying, go out and start making money doing readings. And I'm like, that's not in my plan. I'm not doing that. I'm writing a book, remember, about like consciousness and stuff. And then I'm going to go be a public speaker after I get my book. And then that's what I'm doing. They're like, no, 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 you got to go now and start doing readings. I'm like, what? So I found a place that just by chance, one of their readers had just quit. And so
It's no
she's like,
coincidence.
come on. Yeah. So she's like, I know. So she's like, come on over and do a reading for me. And it was beautiful. The beautiful Mela, the owner of Megas Books and Herbs in Dinkytown. Shout out to those guys. And we had a great reading together. And so she hired me on to do readings at that store. So I started doing professional readings there. And from there, I got hired for private parties from the people I started getting readings for that were my clientele. Well, at the very first private party I was hired for, every single person at the private party wanted to talk to a dead loved one. And I never even told them that I did that. I just said I was a psychic. And I'm like, okay, well, I need the money, so I better see what I can do because I can't just say, I'm sorry, I guess I gotta leave. This party's not happening because I can't talk to your dead people for you. So I was like backed into a corner, right? So I'm like, okay, let me see what happens. And so I just like took my tarot deck and shuffled it and said, let's see if we can talk to, let's see what they want to say. And lo and behold, it was easy. They were right there on the line. I'm like, oh my God, this is just as easy as talking to the elders. And the elders reminded me, they just said again, we're dead too.
Oh
It's really no
yeah,
different.
yeah.
They're in the non-physical realm as well. So
Hmm.
it was just like, oh, super cool. So I figured out right at the time that I was leaving or right after I had left that residence with that Sasquatch clan that it was very easy for me to speak with any soul in the universe. So I started expanding that ability starting in the winter of 2016/17. So I've had a long time now to do that and I've read thousands of people since then.
Hmm.
So my abilities have gotten way better. And so fast forward to this last summer when I realized I had yet another clan living with me that I thought between 2017 and 2024 that the Sasquatches were around me,
Hmm.
coming through, passing by. I didn't know I had a family right there until it, the father of this clan said, I took it out of your head. Yeah, they erased it out of my head to go inspecting. So once I realized somebody was residing right next to the property where I'm at with me very close by, then I started reaching out to them. And then boom, the father of that clan, he just started talking to me all day long. His name is Tatonkwa. He started talking to me all day long, just like my spirit guides, the elders do. So he's just right in there. Anytime I want to direct my energy to him, and he makes things so I'm like an open channel all day long with the all-knowing realm. And most of the time, my go-to group that's speaking to me is a collective consciousness of souls of the elders and my spirit guide. They speak in one voice. That's very common. In the all-knowing realm, all the souls will be a whole bunch of them, but they'll talk in one voice. Like when a lot of people channel Jesus says, we are very happy to speak with you today. So that's what I do all day long with normally.
Hmm.
And so it just switches to Tatankwa talking all day long. And he is definitely in an all-knowing state. But I did some thinking on this. What's really different about the Sasquatches from people is that the higher level Sasquatches, which is really cool that you gave me that confirmation that Tobes, psychic person, can read the frequencies of the hair, because that correlates exactly with what I get with Tatankwa. Tatankwa's consciousness vibrational frequency is on such a high level that he is one with his higher self energy, just like Jesus is, just like we are when we're dead. When we are not alive, our lower self, which is you and I, is assimilated back in with our higher consciousness, which is our higher self now. And we know everything our higher self knows. But when we incarnate down into a physical body, our lower self agrees to a veil of amnesia. And we do not have that all knowing knowledge anymore. When we're down in our lower body, we have a barrier between the all knowing knowledge of our higher self. Tatankawa does not have that. Tatankawa is one with his higher self. He understands and knows everything about his incarnations and his consciousness. He does not work. So when he is talking to me in my mind, the physical lower self of Tatankawa is the one talking to me in that manner. So he, in his lower self body, can speak to me telepathically all day long. Whereas if I'm talking to you all day long in my mind, it's going to be your higher self aspect. Jennifer's
Okay.
higher self is going to be speaking to me, and you're not going to be aware of it.
Oh, okay.
So in my
Interesting.
readings, I
Yeah.
speak to people's higher selves all day long. They pop into the reading.
Yeah.
And so I'm talking to you, and your higher self is also talking to me.
Oh my goodness.
And you have a
Wow.
separation between you and your higher self, but Tatankawa does not
Okay.
have that separation. So
Hmm.
he's able to tap in with me and talk to me and jump in on the conversations as he wishes.
Well, thank goodness.
On, but he's aware of it. The
Yeah.
physical Tatankawa is also aware of it,
Uh-huh.
which is amazing. So we started that relationship last summer.
Hmm. Okay.
So he talks to me like that whenever I tune into him, he'll answer me back right there. He's just right on the line.
Yeah. And you have said that, I mean, we're souls first, having a physical experience. And you have said, something really cool is that we could have had a life as a Sasquatch.
Yes.
Yeah. Or like one of your
Yes, I
friends
have.
could be having a life as a Sasquatch. And
Yes.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
have three friends right now for sure that I'm very, very sure of that they have been Sasquatches in past lives, and
Hmm.
they're continuing that relationship with the Sasquatch people in this life, and they're the one that decided to come down and incarnate as a human, and some of their other soul friends decided to come down and incarnate as the Sasquatches, and then work together and cross that veil.
Yeah. Because we're in some interesting times.
Yes,
And
very
that's,
interesting times.
yes. Um, yes, I wrote down, okay, we talked about, you were told you have a soul contract with them. Did we touch on that yet? That you're supposed
No.
to be doing what you're doing now? Or is
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that other layer, back to that first experience with King in 2016, the other layer of that conversation with him was the real layer. That first layer of him intimidating me, that was a consciousness test for me because we have a choice to receive the information from whatever frequency we're on at the time. And so
Hmm.
the frequency I was on at the time got the intimidation message. And King just said that was because most humans only receive that level of their communication. And so I started with that level with you to help other people that are getting that level of communication understand that that's most of the time is just a sub level of the real information. The real information he was telling me, which I kind of got in my subconscious mind back then, but understood very clearly starting last summer and moving forward from there, was that his real message was, I have been sent here to let you know that it is time for you to start working with us and honor your pre-life soul agreement. And you'll be a steward. You have agreed to be a steward for us and be a spokesman for us and help cross the veil and help people raise their consciousness through working with us and doing consciousness work together with us. That's the real message.
Wow.
And it's on a whole different frequency. And he sent them both at the same time. But the
Yeah.
frequency I was on is the one that will translate whatever frequency I'm on. And he said there might be a higher one too you haven't gotten yet. Yeah, there might be an even higher level one that I don't know yet that he has sent me as well that I haven't accessed yet because my consciousness has not gone high enough to unlock that message. Because you can only receive messages from the frequency you're already on with your consciousness.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, yes, that resonates. And I've heard that before too. It's like a radio station, you got to tune in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so we've already talked about how they are superior to us in consciousness. Well, one of the biggest messages they have for us, and they've told you that we need to get back to nature.
Yes.
Would you mind elaborating on that a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah.
So they, I'm trying to think now, how did we get on that track in the first place with the nature thing? What was I talking about that they were, oh yeah, that they're becoming more, okay. They're becoming, they're explaining to us that they're becoming more visible and interacting with humans more directly now than they were ever before because they're calling us back into nature. They want us to understand how important frequency is and how important nature's frequencies are to our consciousness. And so they're luring us into the woods. They're luring us out to go on hikes and look for them and interact with them out in the woods because we need to save the planet and we need to stop destroying our nature. And
Hmm.
so they are very big stewards of that. And they've been on this planet since before we were created. And they know the differences and changes that man is making to this planet. And they're very alarmed by
Hmm.
it. And it's about
Yeah.
time it comes to an end. They just
Yeah.
said that along with me. They just said, it's about time it comes to an end.
Yeah. Would you say that we were meant to be cooperative stewards? More like that
Yes.
and
Yeah,
living in the
like,
flow.
yeah, like the yeah, like people that are working with them and getting messages from them. We're all here just to kind of cross the barrier because they just said it works a lot better if humans become the initial stewards for the messages than if the Sasquatches just started coming out and talking.
Yeah.
They said humans aren't ready for that yet. They would just freak out if we just came out of the woods and said, "We need you to be better with the nature," and then they
Yeah.
walked away and went back into the woods or
Yeah.
went through their portals. Humans would be
Right.
like, "What?"
A megaphone on the turnpike, like
Yeah.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Stop burning those trees over there. Nope,
And
no, you can't make that dam. I'm sorry, we don't approve that. No, that dam project can't go. You're going to be screwing up the fish. It's not going to work at all. Don't do that. They would be
yes.
like, "Who are you?" So because and
Yeah.
they said and they also don't want to breach their own privacy because like they said, they are still concerned for their safety until humanity awakens in about, probably the next 2 to 5 years. They'll
Yeah.
be able to be a little bit more open, but right now they are still in hiding due to the fact that humans would want to destroy them and destroy their environment and destroy where they live and destroy their privacy. They're just showing me like drones flying overhead 24/7, all
Mm.
kinds of things we would be doing to them
Yeah.
if people knew more about where they are.
I get that. I totally get that. Um, well, one thing they led you to discover, well, you had an experience where you were kind of wondering what they are, and through you
Yes,
asking them what they are, we kind of found out more about us as humans. Would you mind going into that and telling us how they directed you towards what they are and what you learned?
I would
Because
love to cover that
that's,
with you.
yeah.
I've been meaning to get to that on my own channel for a long time, and I just haven't had time to make that content yet. And I decided that I thought it'd be really fun to talk about with you and share that to the world, my experience, and premiere that with you. So it's like it
Mm,
was meant to be that we were supposed to discuss this together because you
yeah.
have such high divine feminine energy. I feel really excited to chat about it with you.
Thank you.
So what happened was I was going to be on a podcast a year ago, and that podcaster at the end of the podcast asks everybody on there, "What do you think Sasquatch are?" And I was getting that most of what they're saying is not right, and that I was trying to ask them what they wanted to tell me about that so that if I got asked on the podcast, I could say.
Hmm.
And they said their answer they said to me a year ago, so it was a year ago, October. they said, so October 2024, they said,
Wow.
they said, well, in order to answer, because I said, who are you guys? They said, in order to answer that question, you would first have to know who you are. I went, hmm, what does that mean? Okay,
Yeah.
all right, all right, well, all right then. And so I was like, well, there's a mystery there. All right. And then I was led to, from there, they telepathically download to me all that information, Holly, that you learned from Greg Braden. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So they led to me information that 200,000 years ago, Homo sapien was created. And we were created from a gene splicing that happened with our chromosome splicing between our second and third chromosomes were spliced and fused into one. So we have one less chromosome than the apes. The only difference between us and apes is apes have 13 and we have 12 because our second and third was fused into one. And they said, the scientists have said, this is physically impossible to have been done through evolvement. It would have taken way longer than what it took. And that whoever did it was a genetic genius because we didn't lose any functions. Normally, when you do that, you're going to wake up and not have language. You're
Hmm.
going to have something screwed up from the other one that you took out and fused together. It's not going to work right. The wiring's not going to be wired right anymore.
Yeah.
So they, pointing towards, of course, American scientists aren't going to say, yeah, this was definitely some sort of off-planet, you know, uh, involvement in human race, right? They're not going
Yeah.
to say that. But Greg Braden was pretty much, like making a whole episode on it on his show, Missing Links on Gaia. If anybody wants to hear it, you can go listen to it on there. And he goes all into it how, it really can't be much else than some sort of some higher level beings intervened with our evolvement at that time. And human beings have been the same ever since then. We have not changed DNA wise. And so I'm like, okay, really cool. So then that's as far as I had for a year ago. And then about, gosh, I think it was maybe 5 months ago now, I was listening to a series with I didn't know what to listen to, and I just grabbed something and put it on my it was either on unified.com or Gaia.com. And I'm like, yeah, I'll just listen to that. Boom, click on it, right? It's Daryl Anka, and he's talking about the lessons from Bashar, and it's a six-part series. Each episode's 20 minutes long. And it's on unified.com and it's on Gaia.com. Unified, UNFYD.com. So I'm listening to that. I'm just doing my thing. And like episode 3 or something like that is like the origins of humanity. I'm just doing my thing here in the house, doing dishes, listening. 200,000 years ago or so, he says, Bashar says that, and Bashar, for people that don't know, is Daryl Anka's higher self from the future coming back to work with Daryl. And so he knows all the things about humanity because they have a higher level of consciousness. They've crossed that veil from the higher lower self by then. And he understands everything about us and knows everything about us. So he's channeling through Daryl Anka for the last 40 years. And Daryl says that 200,000 years ago, Bashar said that the Anu, known as the Anunnaki, came to Earth, which is a very common story in the Sasquatch realm, came to Earth to mine gold and silver for reasons. He said the reason, he added some extra information, the reason was because their atmosphere was depleting and they needed it to save their planet. And they realized shortly after they got here, they could not mine it fast enough on their own to be able to save their planet. And so they needed more workers. And so they tried using the humanoid, hominoid creatures that were on the planet at the time, and they were too belligerent and did not want to listen to instructions. Kind of like, screw you. We're not going to do what you want to do. And so they decided they needed to make something that was more sophisticated consciousness-wise than this being at that time, so that they would be more obedient to them and listen. The Sasquatch has just corrected me. They said, well, maybe not higher level consciousness because we were higher level. We were a higher level consciousness enough to be able to say, screw you. They
Hmm.
wanted something more obedient, not necessarily higher level
Oh,
consciousness.
so they were trying to use the Sasquatch people to be their slaves.
Well, I'm getting to that.
Okay, okay,
Yes. So originally that's what they did. But
okay,
so what I was going to say was that so they were using the humanoid creatures on the planet at that time.
okay.
Oh yeah, because I just gave it away because the Sasquatch people said they. Yeah, 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 you're right. So I had to clarify that. So the Sasquatch Collective just said, yes, we weren't. So yes, to clarify, I was just going to get to that, but they jumped in. These people were the Sasquatch people that we know of today. That the Anu came 200,000 years ago and tried to modify to use as slaves. And the Sasquatch people back then were like, no, dude, not interested. And so they decided they needed to create a more obedient hybrid, not necessarily higher consciousness. The Sasquatch people just corrected me on that. So they they are genetic savants. The Anunnaki are, or the Anu are that's their area is genetics and creating hybrids. So they bred themselves. They spliced off a splice between the Anu and the Sasquatch people and created us.
Makes a lot of
We
sense,
came
really.
from them. We came from them and Anunnaki being bred together. They are our brother. When I found that out, my, I just became completely aligned on this whole piece of information.
Hmm.
That's it for me. I'm like, that, I know that that's right. And the
Yeah.
timeline of 200,000 years ago lines up with physical evidence that American or whatever, I think it's mostly American scientists have found about us. And
Hmm.
so we have collaboration here.
Yeah.
And so, and I've always said the thing that they were saying wrong was they were saying that Sasquatches are the Nephilim and they're the Nephilim mixed with aliens. Nephilim mixed with Anunnaki. That the Anunnaki bred with the Nephilim, I believe, to create the Sasquatch people. No. And I always said that was wrong. I'm like, no, because they're not evil. The Sasquatch people are not evil beings, and the Nephilim are not fallen angels because there is no such thing as a fallen angel because angels don't fall. Just so you know, people, for you to believe that, I'm sorry, but you must need to raise your consciousness to a level of understanding that a divine created being that has never needed to incarnate on earth, and they are such a high frequency that we can't even touch them in the angelic realm is not going to fall away from their frequency that's really high like that. Obviously, it was humans misunderstanding from thousands of years ago, not understanding there can be aliens from other worlds. The Nephilim that came, the Nephilim, those fallen angels are aliens. They're not fallen angels. And there's much evidence of this as well. So therein lies the tale. The tale is the Anunnaki bred with the Sasquatch people, and we are the evil Nephilim beings, people that you are all so afraid of out there in the woods, okay? The Sasquatch people were here before us. They're fine. They have had 200,000 years to evolve their consciousness. They are now way ahead of us. We started over with this hybridization and
Hmm.
had to relearn to work these apparatuses from then. And the Anunnaki got into big trouble, big, 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 big trouble for doing that. They were banned from coming to Earth again
Yeah.
after that. They were very much reprimanded because that's a no-no. You cannot come and just screw around with the beings from another planet and change them like they did to us.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's a big story. Thank you so much for like sharing that with us on here and coming
Well,
on
you're
and
welcome.
talking
And I
about
don't
that.
know, of course I have no physical, I have, I, my I will someday be able to prove it. That's my
Hmm.
destiny. Like moving forward, I'm sure we'll be able to prove all that with science.
Yeah.
The Sasquatch people said, "Well, who cares about science being able to prove it anyway? Science is way behind us, and you're just catching up anyway." So, like
Yeah.
you can either raise your consciousness and believe and move forward, or you can wait around for science to tell you it's real.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, like you said, there's evidence in the DNA. So, and it also never, the story of why, like, I mean, human beings, we look so different, some of us, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and I always wondered why. Like, and then I never bought the story of like, oh, the land masses, and they were on this land mass, and so they were closer to the equator, and that's why, they're darker skin
yeah.
and these are pale, and that just never made sense to me. So is that why we all look so different? Is it's because different alien uh we're looking at different alien genetics being used.
That's what I've been told. I've been
Okay.
told that we are a melting pot here on planet Earth, that hey, we have had influences from many alien strains through
Okay.
the last millennia. I mean, who knows what's happened before then or after then, or there might have been several different species of hominoid creatures that the Anunnaki bred with at that time. And so I've seen aliens that look like the different types of us, like the Nordics are the blue-eyed, blonde-haired aliens. And then there's other aliens that look like the African Americans. And so to me, it makes perfect sense that we've been
Yeah.
inbred. And you and I were talking about this off camera, that the only thing that confuses me is the genetics. I would think there would be like different types of DNA strands or chromosomes or something between us, and I don't understand that part. And
Yeah.
that's the part that's a little that I don't know because I'm not a geneticist, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
have to align all that at some point.
Yeah.
But for right now, what really feels aligned to me is that the Sasquatch people were here before. They were on the planet, and that the fact that we come through as the same as them on the mother side, when we genetically test Sasquatch DNA, it comes through as the same, half the same as us. The mother side of the Sasquatch is the same as human. And so I have to put all that together in my mind and see how is that transfer forward to being us being half Anunnaki, half them, and them being just them. So I don't know. So I'd have to talk with a geneticist and
Yeah.
figure that part out. But
Yeah.
it certainly lines up with the physical evidence and the fact
Mm-hmm.
that we look so much like them, because they always say they're so human-like. They look so human-like. And we are so similar. And
Yeah.
do you want to talk about the other subject we were going to talk about as well? Speaking of hybrids with the Sasquatches,
Yeah. Let's do it.
the
I don't
one you
know.
were going
I'm
to talk
ready to
about.
go wherever you want to go, but are we talking
Well, we were going to talk about the artwork with Mother Mary.
Harry Mary?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yeah, let's talk about Harry Mary. Um, which right up and we lost the late Sonia Zohar. We lost her recently. But she was researching Harry Mary up until almost she left this realm and moved on. Yeah, and you have some pictures to show,
Yes,
which
I
I
shared
think
the
would
pictures
be,
from her work. So this is Sonia's work, and I'll bring it up for you guys. Um, I brought it up last night, so I can grab it for you guys. And let's see.
yeah, that was a perfect.
She
Thanks
was
for,
finding, yeah, she was finding art from many different artists in many different timelines. And hopefully if I go through this, I'll go to yep, this goes right through all of them. Okay, let me go to screen share now. She was getting, she was finding artwork from many different timelines back to, uh, was it like 1400s and earlier, where
yeah,
artists were depicting, she's found art from all over the world from different artists, like several hundred years time span, I think, of paintings of the Virgin Mary, Harry. Here's one of them. Here's another one. It's a statue. I'm sorry, but what?
yeah. I mean, come on.
Here's another one. Here's another one.
Wow.
These are all artwork of the Virgin Mother Mary with hair over her body, which to me, what I downloaded is I think she could be a hybrid.
Yeah,
Not a Sasquatch woman, but she could be a Sasquatch woman too. I haven't done a reading on it to know for
yeah,
sure. But I was thinking, I guess my ego mind was saying, oh, she couldn't be a full Sasquatch. It's got to be a Sasquatch hybrid. But I don't know. I was just thinking, in order for it to not come out in other.
yeah. And wasn't there another, there was a hairy man in the Bible, wasn't there? He was like, I forget his name. It starts with an E. I was not prepared to talk about this, but this just popped in my head.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, his name starts with an
Really?
E. Yes, he was also described as being covered with hair. I forget
Really?
his name. I'll try to put it in the show
Oh,
notes. Starts with an
get
E.
out.
Enoch? No.
I was going to say Enoch, but I never heard of Enoch being covered with hair. But if
Uh,
he was, I've heard Jesus was Enoch.
oh,
So
really?
that's very interesting. Yeah. So this could all be really, really cool since the
Yeah.
Sasquatch people do work with Jesus.
Uh,
And
Eshua. Esau.
oh,
Yeah, Genesis 27:11. Look, my brother Esau, Esau, I don't know, is a hairy man, but I am smooth-skinned.
get
Um,
out.
Jacob answered his mother. Yeah, Jacob answered his mother Rebecca. Look, my brother Esau is a hairy man, but I am smooth-skinned. Interesting. I don't know. Or he might have just been super hairy. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. But
That,
yeah, isn't
well,
that
I do.
cool?
That's really cool since we're related and they're higher than us in consciousness and they are very spiritual beings. I would not doubt for 1 minute that we're going to find, as our egos get set aside and we actually ascend here in the next 5 years,
Yeah.
that we have much more connection to them than we ever thought, and that
Yeah.
they are our superior brothers, and we have interbred many times. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised about that at all.
Me neither. Me neither. I know. I know, so wild. And then there's pictures, speaking of old pictures, and I don't know, this might get us too off topic, but just throwing it out there, something interesting. Another puzzle piece that I don't know where it snaps in, but it's just a puzzle piece. That St. Christopher had the head of a dog, and you can literally go look at old artwork showing that too. So what the heck? I don't
St.
know.
Christopher had what?
He had the head of a dog.
Get
Yeah.
out!
Yeah. So just another puzzle piece. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but something interesting
That's
for people to look
really
into
cool.
that, yeah, this place is far more interesting than we've been allowed to know.
Yes.
But we're
And
finding out, right? Yeah.
yeah, and they just downloaded it to me. Like that's why you and I just met because like you are the steward of all those creatures and consciousnesses on the planet. You are here to bring them forth and show humanity their consciousness levels and interact with them openly through the rest of your life and bring them into intermingleness or inter inter intertwinement. Bring them into intertwinement so that we can all be intertwined on the earth and be living in more harmonious structure with all these beings versus humans thinking that we're just the only ones here and these other things don't exist. They're really hoping that we can start recognizing them so they can be relaxing and enjoying their lives more on the planet more openly. And that's part
Awesome.
of your job.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you so much for telling me that. And that resonates so much. Thank you.
That's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
you are welcome.
Um, well, we've got a lot coming through. Well, we've got, and this backs up what you said, what you're saying, backs up what other people are saying as well. Well, first of all, Three Eye Atlas. We got to talk about Three Eye Atlas real
Oh
quick.
yeah,
Do you have any
let's do
insights
it.
into that? Because we're in October 2025 right now, and that's all that people are talking about Three Eye Atlas. Do you have any insights into this?
Well, I've been living in a bubble
Okay.
about this apparently and hadn't heard anywhere about this until the elders led me to a full episode on cosmic disclosure on Gaia all about this. And I just
Mhm.
heard it like 2 weeks ago. So this is really credible correlations with what you're getting
Yeah.
about this. And that is, I have been told by that show on Gaia, this man was working for the government and he was asked to remote view AI Atlas. And they scientifically have also seen in their telescopes and things that AI Atlas is emitting light out the front of it for 100 yards out the front of it, which is impossible for a comet to do. It's changed colors. It's also it emits a color, either red or green. It emits a color that's impossible for other comets to have ever been able to emit because the color it emits is a result of having one mineral without the presence of another mineral, which is impossible for comets to ever be able to do. And this is doing it, which is why it's emitting this other color. It's like it's like it doesn't have the presence of iron or something like that. And like
Hmm.
all the other comets have all this.
Yeah.
And it also changed its course, and that's impossible for comets to do as well. So they wanted him to remote view this and see what he got. And him and other psychics that were also remote viewing it have gotten the same information. So he remote viewed the comet and he saw that it was actually a ship and not a comet, and that it contained Draco-reptilian aliens within it.
Oh, wow.
Many of them, many, many, many thousands of them. And their plan is, they told him that they plan to be at Earth at 2027, and they are coming for interaction with Earth's star seeds. And that they told him that they're coming in a, a positive mission. I don't, they didn't say positive, but they said, I forget the words they used. So he was kind of like, like, can we really believe what you say, or can we not really believe what you say? And so people are trying to figure out if he's like, well, they're coming for one or two reasons. They're either coming to help the starseeds of the planet ascend and work with them directly. And starseeds are people that normally incarnate to different planets than Earth. And so they bring forth a lot of soul memory from other worlds in their subconscious mind. And they're coming to be humans in this lifetime because that's the rule. If you're going to help humanity, you have to be a human. And so these are people we call starseeds. So they're just like us, they're souls just like us. We all go back to the same place when we die. It's not like they're alien souls. Like people think because they go to alien planets that they're aliens. No, they're souls. Like they could be your best friend. And you decided in this lifetime, instead of going to Arcturus again and being an Arcturian, that you would be an Earthling and then you would cross the veil between Arcturus and humans and bring forth some of their technology into our world. But when you're dead, you and that Arcturian soul could be like best friends up here and be like brother sister souls. So this is what star seeds are. And or they could be coming, the Draco Reptilians could be coming to remove all the star seeds from planet Earth and stop the ascension of the planet's consciousness, because they don't like the fact that we're ascending, because they like us asleep and they don't want us to be awake. Well, this is something I don't know if I've told you this before the podcast, but I want to throw it in here now, that this correlates with my vision. I had a vision in 2007 while I was meditating, and I was walking down the street in the middle of the day. It was 10:30 a.m. I don't know how I knew that, but I just know it was 10:30 a.m. I'm walking down the street. It's a residential street, and the sky is dark, and it's the middle of the morning. And if I would have looked up in the sky, it would have been scattered with ships. Then I'm like, through the years, that really jumped out to me, and it's been one of the biggest visions I've gotten of my 20-year journey with the elders. And I figured out, I think that's around 2025-ish. Like that seems like 2025 to me. And then I felt like it was alien disclosure, like aliens were coming to the Earth, and it was going to be like, and I imagined it was like the event that I was having happen in the vision was the feeling of some world event that was catastrophically traumatic to human beings, and a huge world event that was shifting the planet for forever, that was like a complete surprise to all of us humans. And I was like, wow, what could that be? Alien disclosure, obviously, aliens are coming to world. Why are they coming? Are they coming to save us? I felt like there was some reason why they were coming to save us from something. So I didn't know anything about that. So that's just what I knew from back in 2007. I bring forward, I find out that thousands of psychics and mediums across the planet and astrologists and historians are also coming up with the same timeline. 2025 alien disclosure. Then I found out that people are also hearing Jesus and Mary disclosure, Jesus' second coming of Jesus Christ. It's all converging on this timeline of 2025 to 2027.
Wow.
And so, and I've been being told the same thing, that Jesus' second coming of Jesus is going to be in that same timeline. So, okay, that's cool. So I'm gathering all this information. Then I find out that there's a piece of art from the 1400s with Jesus and Mary in the sky with all these clouds with them, and they're on this cloud that looks like a UFO, and behind them is all these clouds that people think they're UFOs. And it was painted by a French artist in the 1400s. I have a picture of it. If you want to see it, we can pause and go find it, and I can bring it up for you. It's really cool. So I'm like, whoa, are you kidding me? Like, that's my vision. Like, because I always felt like if Jesus and Mary are going to let the world know they're here, they're probably not going to do it in a singular place at a singular time. They're probably going to appear to the whole world all at one time. I'm like, they've got to be in the sky. They've got to come from the sky. And the whole world can see them. Wherever they are geographically on the planet, they can see Jesus and Mary in the sky. It's got to be like that. It's got to be something they can't use technology. It's got to be something bigger than a press conference or
Okay.
a
Yeah.
it's like it's got to be something otherworldly.
Okay,
So
so
then
this is
here's the
not Project Bluebeam. This is not holograms
no,
being
this
projected
is the
on like
real no,
okay.
it's the real like they can project their consciousness in the sky because they're all knowing
Oh,
high consciousness beings.
okay.
They can show themselves to the world, but they can take their consciousness and be in the sky around the whole planet at the same time because they're God in a body.
Okay.
Jesus and Mary are. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that they would really be there in
Are
the
we
sky.
talking Mary Magdalene?
Yes.
Okay.
His wife Mary.
Okay.
Yes. Because this time around, it's about the equality of divine feminine and divine masculine. It is not about Jesus coming, and that's why the Sasquatches move the crosses around.
Yeah.
It's about the original teachings being corrected and taught again, so they can't be misconstrued again,
Yeah, because she
which is
taught
what
with
they
him,
taught
right?
originally.
She
Yeah.
walked alongside him and
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Their
Okay.
consciousnesses were equal in abilities and knowledge at that time. And so that's what I imagine all this stuff happening. Then I'm finding artists painting it from the 1400s, okay?
Holy
Then I'm
crap.
hearing about aliens in the same timeline. And then I hear the comet coming and Bashar has now changed his timeline and said it's shifted slightly to 2027 because the collective consciousness of humanity wasn't quite ready. It could happen between 2025 and 2027, but Bashar says, but I'm really going with 2027 for full alien disclosure to humanity. And that's going to get rolled out in 2027. You will not be able to deny. People won't be able to say, aliens don't exist. Like that will, as of 2027, those people will be squashed, right?
Hmm.
So then I heard about another correlation that I wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, I was listening to something, and they said the ship was so big it blocked out the sky. And I
Mhm.
went, "Oh, there's my vision from 2007. There's so many ships in the sky they blocked out the sun. That's why
Oh
it was
wow.
dark in the middle of the day.
Oh
It's
my
not an
gosh.
eclipse. It's not an eclipse. It's so many ships that the sky is darkened. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's it. Oh my God. That's it. It's all the ships of the Draco. So the Draco reptilians in what's the name of that comet again?
Three Eye Atlas.
EI Atlas.
Three Eye
EI
Atlas,
Atlas.
yeah.
I'm sorry, 3I Atlas.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. 3I Atlas's ship says they contain several thousand ships of little teeny ships, several thousand little mini ships that
Okay.
would be coming to Earth. Plus, if the mothership was floating above Earth, if we have so now we have a possible event happening. If the Draco reptilians are coming to take the star seeds, they would fill the sky with their ships, and the amount of ships coming could be coming to stop the Draco reptilians from taking the star seeds. Ta-da!
Resonates. Yeah. Yeah.
So we got some huge stuff that it could all be like all these timelines. I mean, we're talking the Great Pyramid of Egypt has this in its timeline in the Great Hall. It's marked. We have Saint Germain saying it from the 1400s. We have the alien EBA 1 from Area 5 saying all these people saying 2025 to 2027. And so,
I just had Lori Bruno on a few episodes ago, and she said she saw a ship landing by 2027.
yes,
Yeah. She's thinking, oh, that's
everybody.
what she feels. Yeah.
All of
Um,
us are getting the same thing. So
yeah.
that just shocked the crap out of me when I heard that this I hadn't heard anything about this comet. I hadn't
Hmm.
heard the timeline of it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And I just got my visions, I just had my visions, my stuff, the stuff I'm being lined up with. And then
Hmm.
in comes the guy's channeling to or his remote viewing and
Yeah.
conversation with the beings on there. And I know some people will think we're crazy, but
Well, yeah.
this to me is just lining up more.
Yeah, I feel like when I get information from all different completely unrelated sources, that's when I'm kind of like, okay, I can rest my head on this, I think, and we'll see, but I think some puzzle pieces are getting put in place. And
Yeah, me
that
too.
also, yeah, and that to me also matches up with, well, you've said, I forget if you've said in 5 years or within 5 years, that those that do not respect life, and I don't know if you said the evil
Yeah,
corptocracy or
you and
I
I were
did,
talking about this. You
but
and I,
that
yeah, we were talking about this yesterday.
I feel like that matches up that you've said. Would you talk a little bit about that? That they're on their way out. Yeah, if you don't
Yeah.
respect life.
So for yes, so people that are upset at the direction the Earth is going now, hopefully it can be helpful to understand that the divine feminine energy is bringing the planet into balance. And so many millions of people's destiny in this life is to vibrate strong divine feminine energy in their balance of divine feminine and divine masculine, which everybody has. But we're bringing planet Earth herself into balance of divine feminine and divine masculine. When that happens, the ones that are hurting others will suddenly be greatly dispelled from society, the opposite of which is now. The ones of us that are saying we believe in these things, the metaphysical teachings, we believe in the energetic bodies of things, and the ones that are ridiculing us now. So it's going to flip because the ones that ridicule, that are the non-believers that are ridiculing now, will be the minority suddenly. And the ones that are the believers and understand in the consciousness work that we're doing and teaching the planet will open up and say, wow, I knew that all along, but I was afraid to believe it, but now I believe it. And they're going to open up. And so it's going to very quickly turn to us no longer accepting violence and cruelty on the earth. And those ones will be, so that's how we're going to ascend very quickly because it's going to be all of a sudden, the laws are going to shift and change, and people are not going to be allowed to mistreat others in the way that they're getting away with now.
Yeah.
Does that cover it? There's something else oh, and the 5 year timeline. And in the next 5 years, that's going to really shift quickly. So people think we have a long ways to go. They also want to say that the positive energy is 10 times stronger than the negative. So
Hmm.
one person that's in a high alignment has 10 times the weight on the scale of tipping the scales to balance than one negative person that is they're much weaker in energy. So we can be a 10-to-1 ratio. One positive person is stronger than 10 negative in their positive consciousness state. And so we're going to very quickly, it's going to be like a flip in the next 5 years. By the end of 5 years from now, I believe there's going to be, because of these physical happenings to the planet that are going to happen in 2025, 6, and 7, and 8, it's going to accelerate greatly. So we're going to move quickly into a time where the awakened ones are going to say, these are sentient beings. You cannot treat them that way anymore. Uncage your animals. Unleash your chains, your 5 foot chain to your dog that never gets to run free. You're not
Hmm.
allowed to have a dog anymore. If you can't treat your dog properly, you're not going to be able to, society won't even allow you to own one. Like that's where
Hmm.
we're headed
Yeah.
towards
Yeah.
that.
Um, what do I want to say? Oh, so yeah, we need it's so literally disclosure is not just going to be about like aliens. It's going to be about the Sasquatch, the fairies, the gnomes,
Yeah.
the how the trees are literally living conscious beings. Where that's going to be common knowledge, correct?
Let's talk about that quick, what Bashar said, because you and I, we touched on that too. You were hitting everything. You took down good notes,
I
girlfriend.
did.
So Bashar had said, and this jumped out to me, at the end of one of his recent channelings, he said, and we will be contacting Earth in its entirety in ways that you can never even imagine yet. And I downloaded from that. Oh yeah, they're going to be sitting around talking to the trees. They're going to be like, yeah, the tree says this. The fairies are saying this. The Sasquatch people are going to meet with the aliens. The aliens are going to purposely have meeting with the Sasquatch, the dogmen, and they're going to talk sentiently back and forth with all beings of Earth, not just humans. And I went, yeah, that makes total sense.
Hmm.
They're going to just
Yeah.
come down and just start respecting them. The moths, they just said the moths. They're going to come down and talk to the moths.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Yeah, so I mean, can they give us an idea? I don't know if they could or you can, like, what's it going to look like on a daily basis? Like, let's say, I don't know, 2030, 2035. Like, what's like a daily, what's the day going to be like for us? It sounds like it's going to be drastically different.
It's going to be drastically different, but they said that the other beings collectively said, well, we don't want to live like you. So humans will continue to live how they live, but they'll be more in touch with nature with how they build their homes and how they build their neighborhoods. They will be respectful of our spaces. They said, we'll
Okay.
be in our spaces. We're not going to start wearing clothes and come and build homes like you guys do. We want to continue as we're continuing, and but you guys will be more aware of us. And
Okay.
your homes will be more eco-friendly, put into the woods with a place like we don't want to disturb the fairies. So we're
Yeah.
going to do this instead. So, the development of Western culture is going to be, I'm showing much more greenery. I'm getting shown like moss roofs on homes and more integrated into nature with how we live.
Yeah.
A lot less concrete.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
They
That
said
resonates.
vibrationally, concrete and asphalt stop the magnetic field from Earth being able to get through. So they're going to create ways for us to have infrastructure, but also stay one with the vibrational frequencies of the planet as well at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. You can already kind of feel it happening. I mean, the fact that we're
Oh, it
having this
totally is.
conversation, yeah.
They just said earthing, and just so you know, they commonly start saying something right when you start talking. They add one more thing to say. So then I'll have to like go back around and say what they just said when you're done talking, which is
Sure.
what they just did. They just said it's going to be like earthing. Everyone will be earthing like they do now. They call it earthing. It's being called that now. Whereas where you go barefoot and you commune as one with the planet, it's a magnetic field.
And we're going to be interacting with them and I've heard someone say we're going to be trading with the Sasquatch again. Trading with them and
They said you're going to be learning how to manifest what you want out of thin air. You're not going to need to trade with us. You're going to have replicators.
yeah. I've even
They're
heard of
going to
one
just
guy, he could
replicate
like
what you need.
manifest food on the table. I remember hearing a story on
Yeah,
one podcast. There's a guy, he
yeah.
literally manifested food for his family and it would just appear on the table. Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Like Jesus did, and Jesus manifested
Yeah.
fish after fish after fish after fish because it's just energy being formed into food. And I know Joe Dispenza was walking out in the desert one time and he was like, at the beginning of his journey, really communing with, what should I do? Should I go forth or I don't, he was in some sort of meditative type hike. And I can't remember what thought he thought. I think he was thinking the thought, I'm hungry. And right when he started thinking, I'm hungry, a loaf of bread fell out of thin air and landed in front of him.
Yeah. You just got to sync
So,
up, right? Yeah.
yeah. So, like, and they were also talking that our houses will be more in touch with the magnetic fields and the feng shui energy. The Sasquatch just chimed in and said, yeah, like what we do in our home right now. They're arranging the woods to arrange the energy. We
Yeah.
will arrange our homes in a much more energetic fashion. We will have practitioners that will come out and energize and balance our home's energy for us.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. They said that will transcend much sickness. I said, well,
Yeah.
when we start living that way, we will not have sickness like we do now
Yeah.
anymore. The sickness is really going to go away. The 2035 picture is much less sickness, like the 80% of the sicknesses that we're getting now are going to be like transcended. We're not going to have them anymore because people are going to know how to not have them. The preventative knowledge will be there, which
Awesome.
it is now. I mean, it's available now, but mainstream isn't accepting it yet. But
Yeah.
we shall be soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically the ones that have been blocking the way of progress and for us to be connected to the all and living the way we're meant to, they're going to be forced out of the way. They can't, yeah, they're not going to be allowed to stop progress anymore.
They are already being spit off the planet. Since 2020/21, everybody had to decide at that point if they were ascending along with the great ascension of the planet or if they were not wanting to participate. If they don't want to participate, they're getting spit out and they're all leaving. And so that's
Okay.
happening already. And you can see the shifts already starting to happen where we're allowed now to at least speak these things on Instagram and Facebook without getting, and YouTube without getting deplatformed as much as before.
Mm-hmm.
And so the word is starting to be able to be let out there because the people that have the tight rein on it are slowly but surely losing their positions of power
Yeah.
across the world.
Yeah. What's
And
leadership?
it's
I mean,
really,
yeah,
but
go
what were you
ahead.
going to say?
Please go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that it's really going to start happening when Jesus and Mary are fully disclosed that they are back here on the earth, because then people aren't going to get away with that malarkey
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, and so I would imagine our governments are going to change pretty drastically if we even still have governments. Yeah.
I would think that that's going to definitely be one of the first places where a lot of change is going to start to happen
Hmm.
for sure. It already is. There's a lot of people. There's thousands and thousands of people right now that are working behind the scenes with governments and shifting their power away from them. And I'm part of that movement, so I understand it because I work behind the scenes with a lot of that stuff too. And I am a part of that coalition of energy for the planet. So the collective consciousness of humanity is going to do it. We're all doing it. We're all doing the work. We all been doing the work, but they're just going to allow it to be more sped up because they're going to be um, taken more seriously. The people that are trying to do this work will be taken more seriously, and they will gain more momentum in a quicker fashion once they have Jesus and Mary on their side. You can't argue with that
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. This was awesome. And
You are welcome.
we're getting up to like 2 hours now. So um do you have one last message for everybody right here in we already we have the whole show is pretty much messages, but one final
Yeah.
message for the audience?
Oh, they just wanted to say they just said have hope. They said, for the people that have lost hope, they said, for all you watching the podcast, you are the ones that have the hope. You are the ones spreading the hope. They said, just be more vocal and be they said just vibrate. They said all you really have to do is just vibrate the frequencies of the excitement for what is to come and the changes and shifting that are coming. You don't have to verbally tell people that aren't awake and aware yet, hey, don't be so upset because in 2 years we're gonna have aliens everywhere, dudes. It's gonna be good. And they're gonna be going like that, right? So they're not ready to hear, but you can vibrate the frequency of, you know, all is well. We're super excited about what's coming. And they all start finding their own way to that information that they need to find their way to. And they said, wherever you have a little open door, you can just say a little tidbit like, big things are coming soon. You know, don't worry because the tide's going to shift very, very soon, and there's much evidence of that. Just hold on, like that
Yeah.
to the people that have lost the hope. You don't have to give them exact details, but give them little tidbits and seeds, but vibrate it strongly to them at the same time. Because what happens is when you're doing that, they'll tune to you, and their frequency can change and shift in that moment just a little bit, and they
Hmm.
might hold it because it feels better
Yeah.
than what they were at before. So then the next time they get in desperation, they can go back to that moment where you said, don't worry, all is well, it's coming soon, and that you tuned them to that frequency of peace and harmony in
Yeah.
their field. So everybody watching the show, you have an assignment to go do, they're saying.
Yes, I love that. All is well. All is well. And just before we go, do you have anything going on or coming up that you want people to know about before we close out?
Oh, well, I'm really working hard on building up my content on my YouTube channel. So people want to hear a lot more about my experiences with the Sasquatch people and how they're great consciousness teachers. I am working on getting everything that's happened to me eventually on my channel. So I have a lot of personal stories to start to share on there. And I'm working on my playlist there right now. And I'm also going to be continuing with the Great Awakening updates on my other playlist. So I've got a lot of consciousness content to put up there and a lot of Sasquatch content, which is also consciousness content, to put on there. So people want to stay abreast and stay afloat. I would recommend subscribing to my channel, which is Holly Burns Psychic. And also my Facebook page and Instagram page. You can find me there at the same name, my website as well. And I'm also going to be continuing to do free readings live on my Facebook channel from time to time, so you can keep abreast on there and I'll announce the next time I'm going to be doing free live readings, so you can check me out there. And you can also connect with me for a personal private reading through any of those ways that you want to contact me through, or contact me through my website and hook up with me there.
Yep. And I will have all those links in the show description, everybody. So just click below, open up that little window there, and you easily click to get to Holly. So thank you so much,
Thank
Holly
you.
Burns,
Thank
for
you
coming
so
on,
much.
and we appreciate you. All right.
Thank you. It was my honor.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.